Hello and welcome to Cam Girl Diaries. My name's Luscious Leisha, and today I'm interviewing Kitty Pipas. Kitty, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I must say, I love your name. Let's it just goes off the tongue, right?
I have something that was good, So, what are you up to?
Well, not much. Lately I've been writing a lot, so I got a few scripts, getting some stories out. I haven't done this in a long time, but like they say, it's like riding a bike. But for some reason, I'm still on my training wheels. So
I know.
I'm writing. Yeah, right. Like the research part, you don't realize. Well, am I going to get factual details? Am I going to do Forrest Gump? Am I going to do, all these different things, options on YouTube and with everything going on with the writers deal? The writers strike. It's really been an interesting journey once I made my turn towards writing again, because I used to write back in the day, but that's what I'm doing and I'm sticking to it. And the universe says, you gotta get those stories out.
And that's what you do.
Right? You get the pen and you take it out and you put it down, and wherever you go from there, c'est la vie. You know what I mean? Like, just get it out there.
Yep, you gotta trust the universe with that quit. You really do. And I really don't know much about you. Are you in the camming industry, or what do you do? What do you do?
Yes, I'm one of those Adina tie hands, the little finger thing. Basically, I was married for twice for, the good push of my life, did all the mother things, parent proper. And my last one ended in revenge porn and divorce. So I didn't really understand the whole, slut shaming and all this stuff like that. I mean, I did understand I didn't want to be a slut. That's, based on my beliefs that I was brought up to. But my ex-husband had the courtesy of catapulting me there. So I thought, you know what? If I'm going to be wearing this gun letter and the courts think I'm a bad mom, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to learn all about this and see what's up. And the revenge porn he sent a couple shots of me doing a quick, because I was going to fourth wave feminist therapist, and she's like, "Oh, what's that time you saw your pussy?" And I was like, "My pussy? My God, I don't know, because I was married to a narcissist, and God forbid I shaved. Like, oh, where are you going?" I'm like thinking, where am I? Like, oh, I'm a housewife. I got, so many kids. We got a huge house. We got, I was just too busy. So he used those pictures. And girl, that's when the selfies, the phones are coming out, and there was camming and stuff. But I always had a good, sexy voice, so I used to sell my, audio bits to guy friends, just low key. I'm like, okay, I'll say that. Come on, just say this, and I go, okay. So then I would record it and send it to them, and give them the tapes or whatever, and then they would pay me. So that was like low key things I used to do back in the day when I was younger. But then when I got thrown into this, I thought, you know what? I'm a creative artist. I've had dancing and theater all my life, was in plays and musicals. And then, becoming a mom, you think your life is over. You got to live this great, straight Christian life. That's how I was brought. So when he did the revenge porn, it opened up like a whole new world that I was thrown into. I was ashamed. I was outcasted by friends, family, my career. It was just miserable. So instead of, dying, because at that time revenge porn was a misdemeanor and it became a felony while ours was still through the process of the courts and everything. So, but either way, one day I finally get my red card, but now I had a fake card to get licensed marijuana. This was in 2014. And I get all the way home and they didn't give me a pipe. It was a bad mom's pipe. I thought, oh, that's me. I'm going to that place. So I'm a sculptor. I'm a sculptor and artist. And I was thinking, I'm gonna make a pipe. They make pipe out of clay because I have sculpting. I was, doing all kinds of, unique things, especially with the kids at that time. They were getting older or whatever. And I thought, what am I gonna make? And I thought, I'm gonna make a cock pipe because my ex-husband always says I'm sucking cock all day. I'm gonna prove him half right. Like I'm trying to make him right still, trying to fix him still as an enabler. I'm gonna make him half right. And I get gone with the wind with Vivian. I'm like, I will never starve again. And then I had this 8-inch bling hot piece with little symbols and seagulls that represented you. No, oh my God. And I didn't realize because I was alone and my dad was helping this his roommate because they were all going to be moving and he was disabled. So I was doing that at that time. Right. And my girlfriend, I had friends who were in the underground grow and she came over with a pine flower And she goes, oh, I left my pipe in the car. And I go, oh, no big deal. I got mine. I whip out this big 18 cock. And she's like, wow. And then we're all looking. She's like, give it to me again. I go, no, that's what it means to me. You know what I mean? She didn't understand. By the time she got up to $65, I thought, well, I guess I could buy more clay. And then that started Kitty Pipas, came to Long Beach, California. They embraced me because, the gay community. I mean, I was making 25 packages for bridal showers.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so they embraced me, and then I went and did the underground sessions. So right now, here's a couple pieces I wanted to bring out. I have a chess set that I've made, and I've actually sold one of these already. They're pretty extreme, but that's the point. Here we got I call it the Hierophant, kind of pieces after the tarot cards too, because there's a bishop, and how represents it. And then, of course, I had one movie for the rooks, but then I go, no, they just a repair. So here's my pair, for that. And then, so, I mean, these are pieces I do to help relieve my stress and anxiety before I smoke a lot of weed. And I love it. And then here's the female, the queen.
That's cool. Nice.
Yeah. Some guys are mentioning how she didn't get much of an ass compared to the king. But, I like ass on men. It's like, we got the tits, they got the ass. So, yeah, so that's kind of how I went to there. Yeah, so I went to underground sessions, and I met people. And I met a gentleman who was in the adult industry who owned over 300 porn names. And I guess he was considered a major publishing house. And so I went with him as a VP to help sell his chunk of, XYZ porn names. And I went to internet, which is at that time, a few years ago, it was like right before the AVNs in Vegas. At that time, it was just the Hard Rock. So that's where I learned about I got into the industry through the backdoor. We all like the backdoor thing,
Yep.
He warned me, he was like preparing me, because I swear, I was excited, I wanted to see everything and know everything, I was curious, and so he goes, be prepared, they're gonna be chicks with big boobs. I go, well, I got big boobs. He goes, oh, bigger. And they're out there, I like sucking cock, and I love being a slut. And I'm like, oh, really? See that? I was like, oh my God, this is heaven. It sounds ridiculous, but when you're scorned with the scarlet letter and you've not done shit, you're like, let me see what I can get into.
I can imagine that's like a whole world,
Right? It really was. I literally want to sing that song right now. Whole new world.
Was that from Aladdin? Oh my God, you can tell I'm a mom.
A MILF mama.
Oh
no, I got into it that way, and so I just reached out, since I had the capability to. I had all these websites that I could put content on, and I was learning about all of that myself. So I reached out to Alana. I met Alana Evans. Reached out to her and different actresses, and then I started going to the award shows, and then I just kind of learned. And then my boss goes, we need to know which platforms to support. Because they could do the whitewash and all that stuff. So he goes, try a few. Try Facebook. I go, Facebook? I thought, my God. It was still shocking. It was like,
yo.
But I did it anyways. And I got a lot of followers on that. And what I love about that Facebook, which is crazy, is I wrote blogs. And they actually respond. You could write a blog on Twitter and barely people, you see everybody looks at it, but no one responds. It's controversy, or they don't want to be associated with that. But on Facebook, they're like, hell yeah, give me that body part, and I was just thinking, man, they're really free here. That's what I like about that. So I have a few blogs on that one. But, so I got to do different things, and then I tried the OnlyFans, because at that time, Fan Central was pretty dominant, all the main ones, but, and they were barely starting to open up all the cam star ones, where you could amateur models like Pornhub. I have Pornhub for traffic, so I kind of got to understand all that through the backstory and met people. So basically the full circle came when I went to a gala for, it was a gala for, to stop cyber abuse, because that's when it was crossing over where people are starting to expose the Instagrams and all that stuff with identity information. So, I met Ron Jeremy there, and I know people have, yes, he was sitting in the middle of this place, with little feet. And someone was donating. Remember they had all the cooking cupcake contests? Well, a major company was sponsoring. So I had bought a Cosmo, or my boss did, and he was like complaining about how expensive it was because it was Hollywood. And I grabbed a Cosmo and I grabbed a big brand new box of cupcakes and I went, I go, "Hi Ron, my name's Kitty." And he looked at me and goes, "Yeah, I love you." And he takes the drink and had the cupcakes and he saw my dad giving big kiss. But to me, I know people have their ins and outs about him, but to me, he was iconic. I had already met Hugh Hefner through a K-Rock party. It's a local radio station. They did a single thing and I won and I got to go there. So, that's when he was dating the blondes, the hot blondes.
Yeah, what was her name? Kendra?
Yeah, there was 3 of them. There was like Holly, Kendra.
Well, one. So the last one, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, they didn't last, but yeah. So I met Ron Jeremy, and so like that to me was a full circle because he's iconic. He's been doing it since the 70s, and I befriended him. He befriended me, and one of the things that I just want to state, because we all have good and bad days, or people are more extreme than others, and with the Me Too movement, the sexual harassment, I've always been very cautious because I've seen both sides where the girl was faking, or the girl was, I find out she was lying, and it was a whole the whole whatever, or not faking and then not being taken serious. So I've seen both sides. So I just send love and healing, but he always asked permission because I met him several times after that. We were going to work on a script that I wrote, and he was going to be in it. I was like so excited.
That's cool.
He got incarcerated and whatnot, but he always asked me permission, and I used to laugh and like, "Why do you always ask me permission to touch her a little bit? We're over here hugging," and he's like, "Because I've been."
I can imagine. Oh my God.
I know it, but the interaction that I had with him was always positive, respectful. Yeah, it is what it is. It's the adult industry. But one of the things I have to say with that, when you cross over the Muggle world and the adult, there's a different code altogether. I can't speak behind closed doors because I'm not a major porn actress. I've been offered by some big companies, but I just thought, well, that's not enough money to pay for therapy for my children. That was my thought. I need at least a minimum of this much.
I am too. I've been offered a lot of roles, but honestly, I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Not when you could be your own free agent and you can
exactly
the content, because that's a whole role, and that's a whole other level that I have respect for myself. That people might say, "Oh, you look great! I can't believe you did this and that." But in my heart, I'd be like, that's not what I want to look like, and that's the terrible angle, and I don't want to be that person.
And you hate it when it's done, and you're like, "Oh, I should have done it myself."
I should do my own makeup. I should weird things like that, or if you need a better filter, because
I should cover the, almost on my face. Come on.
Exactly. So you understand, especially a lot of the girls that have come up. They did get an OnlyFans. I did get a Fan Central. I did all those, and the OnlyFans I liked because it was paying at that time the most, 80%. And they wouldn't advertise for you. And I like that because it was kind of scary when you're first getting into the porn thing. Like, well, they're going to exploit your name everywhere. Your picture's going to be seen. That's the fear you get. So you can obsolete a state. People use hackers are going to find you no matter what. So,
yeah.
That's
what people are called in the weird places where they have are hacking the internet. My shit's been everywhere. We have all the that I can't talk. I have the DMCA shit, but you can't stop it. You can't stop it.
You can't. You kind of have to almost act like you want it to happen, and then you're going to take advantage of the opportunity that the exposure it brings to you. Because if you Google Kitty Pipas, you will find all my shit. And my OnlyFans has been hacked. I had to open twice. I closed it one time and then I opened it again. And each time been hacked and all my photos and everything exposed. And at first I'm just like, really? And I even had a company close them down. And then they still open up through another company. it is what it is. I'm not crying over it. I'm actually kind of laughing because, dude, the more you expose Kitty Pipas, my name is used for a lot of porn companies, and I'll have one little picture in there, and then it has everybody else, and I love it. I'm like, yes, use my piggy toe, use my, use any piece of me you want, I love it. Like Andy Warhol said, the biggest form of flattery is imitation.
It is,
As long as you get that recognition, as long as they tag you, then I'm good. They don't tag you, then you're going down.
So you said that you did foot stuff. Is that what you said?
Yes, oh my gosh, I met this lady in Long Beach and she did footwork. So she told me, oh my God, I feel so horrible now. I forgot his name, but he's an underground photographer. I can probably send you his info later. But I asked her because she was a sex worker, and I was just very curious because I don't know, I just went hardcore research about learning all these labels that was put upon me, and also seeing the travesty of the people being just no protection for sex workers, and that's why I really loved Alana, because she was at the time she fought to get Swanson benefits. And different things were changing at that time. So I was just like totally like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. Because I was always the anti-bully. Back to the footwork. I reached out on Craigslist to this lady, and I love Craigslist. And I said, oh my God, I know you're a sex worker, and I'm not trying to disturb you. And I'm kind of like, I just told her, like, I'm kind of like breaking into it, like the cam thing. They consider all that sex work. And I just was kind of curious if I can ask you a few questions, you know what I mean? And then I guess back page was like a big thing. I kind of came into that right when they closed it all. It was like closed, the laws were changing. It was really weird. So, and we take this off personal. So, and so she said, yeah. And so she befriended me and would answer like silly questions that I would get. Like one guy said, oh, I'm a cockhold. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And so
that's how I was too. This shit. I'm like, what? What was it?
What do I gotta do?
What want people?
And you want to what? It was crazy. So I got an Oscar because you didn't really want to Google things either, because you know how like I still was kind of in that scared stage, like still. So she told me, she befriended me, and she told me she was a foot. So Kitty, I think you'd probably benefit being a foot, worker or whatever. And so she told me this photographer underground came into town like once a year, so often, and certain girls he would invite, and he was a hardcore professional. And so I said, sure. And I was scared to death. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I saw pictures of the girls with the feet, and I'm like, oh no, I'm new at this, so I ain't got to do that.
Right, exactly.
Because I'm thinking this girl, like, but the photographs, they're not sucking on them, they're just posing. And so when I went there, it was so professional, and we would pose, and then you're standing there like a second, and just making the faces. And finally I said, fuck this, all right, enjoy this is fun. And we faced forward, and we had to do the feet in the back or whatever. And I almost fell asleep. And I was thinking, man, this is so relaxing. How can I not enjoy doing this? And then a couple clients, she posted pictures, he posted the pictures, and I posted a couple. And then from I guess some of her followers, I got a couple clients saying, oh, I love this. And they were so professional. They, they paid me for my donation for the time to get there. And I had more respect for it. You know what I mean? So like, I got to feel a part that I felt comfortable. Yeah, I was satisfying someone for their thing. At the same time, they were helping me take care of my needs, like paying my bills,
Right. Exactly.
That was a wonderful experience. So, I did different types of things, just went on dates and whatnot. I've been kicked off every dating site. No,
Did you make a lot of money? Feet pics? Did you make good money doing that? Because I know when I first started, I looked at that because I first started selling panties. I tried the feet thing. No one bought my shit. So I went to the panties. But what did you do with that?
I do have a client here or there. I don't advertise it anymore. If someone wants to do it, like I know how the rules are. I know how it goes. So if they can't set up that time, like a deposit for your time, because a lot of talk, so you're screening out a lot of people that, just think it's quick, and then they're done. It's like, okay, if you just want a picture, buy a picture. You know, it's like,
Right. Exactly.
you just buy a video. Like, if that's going to be all you want, you don't want to meet, and I don't really want you to meet me because it's kind of weird. Not set up. I'm like, what? You know, like the guys that are gentlemen that I noticed that I work with, they have a place. It's safe, completely comfortable. There's no weird vibe. You know, I'm getting a full on foot massage. That's how I look at it. And, you know, I'm facing forward watching TV and having snacks.
Perfect.
But I do have a couple clients, and then I had a couple, one or two guys come up, and they fell all the way through, and they, you know, did the deposit, and then we met up, and it worked out. But, you know, it was a little much for them because, you know, I don't charge the cheapest, but at the same time, it has to be worth my time, you know?
Exactly. And that's a huge thing. Like, we've been talking about tip menus on, you know, campsites. I'm mostly on Chatterbait, so I've been talking about that with the past 2 episodes that we did, and people are asking about prices, and there's not really like a guide or anything. And it's like, you have to, like I say, you have to price it with what you feel it's worth. And who cares if some asshole comes in and says, "Oh, I'm not paying that," then there is the door, you know, go. But yeah, the worst thing, definitely agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. So,
have you ever cammed online with Chatterbait or anything?
no, that I honestly, when you said Chatterbait, I really had Chatterbait on some of the web pages that we did, most definitely, because it's amazing. And no, I have not. I have done like a live stream on my OnlyFans.
Oh, nice. How was that? How was that? Well, God, that I did one. I don't know. Like, I mean, okay, this is dead.
Quality equipment, like not my equipment. It was like you know how some of the systems that they offer you really, they don't really go with what you have. Like some of them you ready to turn on and this woohoo, you got all these buttons, but there's other ones that at the beginning was hard. But what was weird, I'm gonna tell you this. You know, like right after you have like a live stream sometimes, and on OnlyFans, I don't know if it still has it because I haven't done it in a minute, but as soon as it was done, it showed me the statistics of how many people were watching, and I didn't have that many followers. And I'm thinking, who the hell is watching this shit? And I'm not getting paid. You know, like, what is up with that? So, like, that's why I don't even really trust half the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a content creator where I like doing all my crazy stuff, dancing stuff. And then if my tit comes out, my tit comes out. But you can't do like that on a regular platform. You get reported.
Yeah, you definitely can't wear watch yourself.
Back the age thing. So I respect that by all means. So when people send me their fake shots, I go, dude, like, this is a non-verification platform. I'm sorry, but if you want to send me the you know, cock pictures, you got to send it to my OnlyFans. You know what I mean? And they get all bent out of shape. Or if I say I'm not interested, oh, you're a fat old ugly lady. I'm just thinking, really?
People are so rude.
I know.
They really are. Like, there's a lot of assholes out there. I get them all the time in my room because I'm 40, and they're like, you know, you got to retire. I'm like, what? I'm having a good time. I'm not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they say I'm too old to be on a campsite.
That's the thing, though.
Beautiful.
You're beautiful. There's men out there that that you're their type. You're their fetish. Like when I came in, they're like, "Oh, you're old. What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And they're like, "No, you're a MILF. You're this." I'm thinking, okay, well, that's what I am. I don't really care. I get that shit all the time. Even the regular radio stations. I work for Dash Radio on the Kalinja Girls. For years, I got a sex talk segment on that. My producer, I worked with him because he was looking for sponsors, and I was running Iron Hill shop in Long Beach, and then I was running the customer service and the wholesale management and the affiliate program for smokearola.com in LA, and they're an international company for smoking accessories. So he came, you know, one person knew another, and then he came to get sponsored, and he goes, "Who's running that show?" And I'm like, "Me." He's like, "Yeah, you come up, work for me." And I'm like, "Yeah, right, dude." Like another guy telling me what I need to do.
Exactly. Well, the dawn was. Yeah.
But like he gave me an opportunity to do a 2-minute sex talk segment, and honestly, I thought, who am I to give a sex talk segment? Like I got thrown into it by revenge. Like I was just like really confused about it, but because I was doing so much research, I just started talking about my experience. And then I didn't have broadcasting or proper editing or proper writing for it. But it grows over time. I mean, you just smoke a lot of pot and listen to the best one when you play it over. And if you're laughing hard enough, send to the producer. And sometimes he'll be like, what the hell? But I would tell my honest stories. You know what I mean? Like, it happens. Like, I used to say, because I'm totally like, pride. And I say, I'm a gay man inside a naturally born woman's body. And I love my tits. And I put that on my many platforms on the dating sites, like, whatever, all of them I've been on them.
Yeah, all of it.
Oh, she's transgender. I'm like, hey, you're a discriminant, you're right. I used to think, oh my God, how rude. Who cares if I am? But I am not. If you read what I wrote, it says I'm a gay man and naturally born.
I know. People go to the extreme. Teach their own, teach their own.
Yeah.
Nobody should judge anybody. That's how I feel in this world. Nobody should. Rate your own person. If you don't like it, then just go away. That's all you need to do.
Bunch of haters, because you know what? I think inside they're probably really sexually attracted and they don't understand why, because they've never opened up to the possibility that there's a whole other world. And in fact, that's what creates predators. That's what creates people who hurt people through sexuality. And one of my scripts I'm writing is about, the crimes against creation, and it's horny, and it talks about, a lot of like stuff like that, a superhero who fights crime. And I know it's a typical thing, but I don't know, life has dealt me where I've been able to walk both paths, the muggle world and the adult world. Yeah. And I would rather work in the adult world because they need secretaries, they need, administration, they need all that. I met some of the greatest people who work for these companies, like Caterate. When I would work with Why Not, I worked registering all the stars that come in. And so you meet the people who work for the companies, and you know how hard, like, it's just like anything else. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, we're going to summer camp or we're going to cheerleading, like where they go to Florida and they do all their. So it's just like one of those, keep them together. You gotta make sure everybody stays, make sure everybody shows up, gets the wardrobe, do their thing, have fun.
The stigma, there's a huge stigma with it all. And I, like you saying, I was first half of my life, I was professional in the muggle work, and then the second half of my life, here I am. And I've always been super sexual. So this was really easy for me. But I didn't know it. I did not know this world existed, but it is the same as a regular job. It really is. How do you react to that? Like, this people like probably get, does your family, they ever ask what you do? Do they know?
Well, like I said, when I got thrown into the revenge porn, my ex made it seem like I was a prostitute all day. He told this to everybody, of course, that my family, anyone, and then emailing all this shit through my email, so they're thinking I'm sending these weird photos. But so I kind of got disassociated from my family. Like, they didn't know how to react being a hardcore Christian. And my mom, like, before it hit the courts, my parents knew that my ex was just a bad breakup, and what the hell is he doing? What's that? And but once it hit the court, then it became like a battle of. It was just a really weird thing. So after that, my mom, because I was hardcore working in the corporate world. I mean, I did take a little break when I was married to him, but I was getting my real estate career back up in order, and it was going really good. And I've worked in the corporate Orange County. I've done all kinds of international company administrative assistant, customer service, brand call centers. I know how to do that, so I know how to make good money. But kind of being thrown that way, I had an ego death, honestly. And I got hit right in the core as any woman who's a mother and who actually loves their children. I'm not saying mothers don't love their children, but some mothers are very selfish. And I know because I have one. And she was young, granted. She was 17 when she had me. So, like, I was just another younger sister to her. You know what I mean? Like, oh, come on. Honey, like, always got to find something to do for her or do, but she did put me through my class, my dance classes. You know, she did put me through etiquette school. She did do a bunch of stuff for me. You know, she loved me the best she could. So when I got hit with the revenge porn, like that was my ego death. Like that was the worst thing that you could ever do to me, and it happened. And I survived, and I figured I'm gonna get out of this and become stronger. And now I figured 7 years have passed. It seems like a long time, but that has been my journey all the way up. Now I'm going to go back to my true love of writing and film directing. And it's not just adults. So that's where I have a couple stories or that borderline, you know, it could go either way, hardcore or stay muggle. But I don't know. I'm not really worried about it. I'm just going to create it. I already have a bunch of things, and I have other stories that I'm working on. So it's an exciting time for me because now I feel like I've been through the cocoon and got, you know, reborn again. And
We think more and more and more. That's what it is.
yeah, it is. And the best thing about it, you know, what I love about the most about me being older is my life experience has built my foundation. And I got lost for a while because I got thrown in somewhere foreign and had to survive. And then, you know, and then going into working in the underground sections in LA is hardcore. And I wasn't even ready for that yet because I grew up Orange County, you know, like I was like, you know, I go over there and I fell for every prank, you know, like, okay, whatever. But then I got to work in the music industry. I had my sex talk thing. So I was building it. They threw shit at me. I learned to transition that energy and use my pain to create. And yeah, they were cockpipes, and I'd gun her down, and they're hardcore men dominating. And I'd be like,
I love the cocktail.
right, I go, nothing better than sucking up kitchen ass in the morning when you wake and bake. And they're like, oh.
Oh, look, that was really cool.
Right. And then you realize, oh, I was not just drawn, not everybody's not more advanced than me in sexuality. In fact, they're the same as I was before, but the male dominance. But when I exerted my feminine power and had already been humiliated and I owned it, whoa, I felt that like, well, who the fuck is this chick? You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, she's a freak.
Yeah, your life experience total will just make you into a better person. Like I've had a really rough life myself, and they make you stronger and you grow from it. And like when you get into the adult industry, it's good to have that behind you, because when people come, you know, at you or in your room and when you're online and they're like, you know, you're disgusting, you know, you're so fat. Like I'm just like, back in the day that would have really bothered me. Now, not so much. I'm just like, yo, there's the fucking door, you know? And, you know, it just makes you stronger.
It
You know,
does.
and you can be yourself.
You understand that they're projecting. You know what I mean? Like, it's a disease, a mental illness. And in fact, you know, they say, oh, yeah, well, you're a mental illness for wanting to fuck anybody. It's like, no, dude, I'm open with my sexuality. The image that you gave me before I even knew what I was doing, like you said, I've always been a sexual being. I was. I didn't know what not express. I wasn't taught. You know, I really, honestly, when I was in high school, this was really funny. I dated this black guy who was really hot. You know, he was on the track team, a football player and basketball. And man, he had a beautiful body. And one time we started getting a little frisky at my house, and all of a sudden he goes to put himself in, and like it was like, you're pretty big. I was like, I thought, I don't think that, 'cause I'll be honest with you, kid, it's gonna be crazy. I didn't want him to fuck me because I believed that if I married someone else who had a smaller dick, my pussy would have been wide open.
Yeah, that's a common misconception with many young women. It really is. But that shit does get that. You know?
No muscle. You do kegels. I mean, I gave birth to almost a 10-pound baby boy, and my pussy went back strong. You know, because I learned, like, whoa.
It's a powerful thing. Pussy power, for real.
It is. I didn't know that. I mean, if I would have known that, maybe I would have done it with him, but we probably would have to build ourselves up to it.
Yeah, a little bit. Like you,
I know.
hey, something before he went in there. Yeah.
Yeah, or I don't know, but the thing is, I felt so bad for him because he goes, I'll never forget it. He goes, oh, And then I go, oh, I'm sorry. And he goes, no, I get that a lot. And I was just like, whoa, you get that a lot? Like, how many girls have you ever met are trying to be whatever they were doing, so I can understand like a guy like that wants to go out with the milk, so that brings it full circle again, where when I got on the dating site and this guy's like, I don't know, you ever date younger guys? And you're all chatting out on the Friday night, you're at home chatting. I'm like,
I get that all the time. All the time.
And you look at them, they're pretty hot. Yeah, you can always, I go, oh, I'd love a good internal massage. It's like, yeah, a good sounding.
Exactly.
And his thing, I was like, no, I never thought about it. And he goes, well, you better think about it. I'm like, hey there, son, take it easy. I reacted like a mom, like, calm down there, son. But it's tough. Some are serious, some are just seriously just want to fuck you and go. And then the fuck boys are a whole other story. But
yeah, there's like different categories.
Oh my god. I had one of those, and I must say, I fell for every bit of it, and I loved it until I didn't.
What you learn, and that's like my whole thing is like with the industry, like a lot of young girls when they're 18, they always say like, oh, I want to open an OnlyFans. I'm like, I don't know if you want to do that, honestly. Like, you need to have some life experience before you get into this shit, because this is not for the weak at all. Not for the weak.
But there's just some girls who have the knack, you know what I mean? Like, I love watching interviews, like with what's her name, Akira. She does a lot of interviews for Pornhub. Aja. I just know she loves butt action, and I love her because she married a non-adult industry person, and then they have a really nice life. But anyways, I just remember her saying, "Oh, I love sex. I love it. Everyone's taking me, and I'm gonna get whoa, okay. Now it's like I'm an actor in a method acting, and I'm getting prepared to understand." But that's why I had to do it, so that I can be extreme. So I used to say, you know what? The reason why I learn about this is because now I can actually make a proper consent. I could be consensual to something. Like, I will know for a fact that I do not want to be double DP because I've only like one. Like, I'm not ready for that coming out yet. And I didn't even say it like a word like, oh, big coming out. She's her first DP. Like, there's a reason why they do that. You know what I mean? Or first time lesbian, or first time gay, or first time this, or we love that. So I learned about that from people who are extreme, and I appreciate that energy. Like, a sexual being who is capable of harnessing that energy and just devour.
It's a lot of energy that we have. Like, I'm a practicing, pagan, and I do a lot of sex magic, and it's a lot of energy. It really is.
It is. But so is the climax too, right? Like, when you're building that stuff up.
Yep, and it really does. I'm going to say, we're offering classes for solo orgasmic manifestation. That's my deal I'm looking into. Yeah.
Really? That's awesome. I used to own a metaphysical bookstore as well, because like I told you, I was a hardcore Christian, and I wanted to learn about. And I did. I had a store in Old Town Tustin, and I called it Enchanting Scrolls and Garden. We had a garden with. So I didn't know anything. There is another situation where but I willingly went into that one. I wasn't thrown into that. But I learned the craft, and there was many different different divinations of like the craft, coming in, renting a room. We bought the books. We'd have like belly dancing, Tai Chi. We had medium meditation where everybody gets in a circle. These are all run by specific teachers. Herb classes or authors would come in, and they'd have book signing as well as give a class to create like a little medallion.
Well, that's everything I love. I love all that. It's good for your soul. It really is. It's good for your soul.
It is, and that's how kind of through paganism. Beltane is like one of the sex Sabbath. When you go and check and give a stick back and go and have sex frolic for a year and then go back. Oh, May Day, are we giving back the stick or not? and go get another one.
Exactly. Yeah, it definitely does. Like, practicing, like, being a pagan and stuff, it does help with a lot of sexual shit. Like, it really does in a way. I just think it all is together. And it helps me, like, be better. Like, I've always been super sexual. Like, I've always talked about everything. And people look at me and be like, what? Like, they're like, you don't talk about those kind of things. I'm like, why? Like, I never understood that growing up. Like, why can't I talk about, like, oh, I got, fucked last night and it was too, like you said, it was too big and it didn't fit. Like, people are like, oh, it's just like a special person, I guess.
Girl, you need to get yourself a Craigslist best friend, girlfriend. I saw an ad in Craigslist for this guy. He loved going on with Grinder and he loved getting his butt, like he wanted to fill up his, whatever the words he would say. I forgot. It's been a minute, but I go, I'll be your best friend, but I don't have that much activity, but I'm learning to be a hoe. And then we would laugh and tell me all this crazy stuff. So yeah, I get it. And then the thing with when back to paganism, I don't know why I got off the topic that I forgot, but what I was going to tell you, yeah, you need a best friend hoe. That's what it was.
Friend hoe.
Yeah, it was my best friend hoe.
I'll write that down. That's what I need.
Best friend hoe, where you just exchange stories. And my favorite, my best friend's gay, so like I love getting stories. But now he's with his boyfriend, so they're a little more boring now. But when all the girls get together, man, we cause ruckus, and my kids always end up coming out. It's a great time. It's always a good time because boobies. Everybody loves boobies.
Oh, let's titties,
right? Who doesn't?
It's so funny. It's so funny because like I'm really open about everything. And one of my friends got a boob job, and I was like, she comes to my house and she's like, "How do you look?" I'm like, "Good." And I'm like, "I'm gonna touch him," and she's like, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "What? I need to touch these things. Like, I need to feel them."
I had a friend that go, "I got a boob job. Everybody come touch him. Tell me what you think." And I was like, "What the fuck? Why do you touch your boobies? Well, come on." And I'm like, "I'll be the first." And I go, "Okay." And the scientific aspect of it, sure, why not? Because that was, like before you really know. So I didn't want her to start crying because
it's for education for that kids,
because here I got big boobs. So she was like, "Oh no, what's the boob? My boob, my parents' boob." I'm like, "Okay, I'll fill your boobies." I go, "Oh wow, they smell just like mine. Can you share?" I'm like, "Where was you?" So
exactly. So you're kind of like very seasoned like sex worker in the industry. You've done a lot, and now you're kind of like on the back end of it, writing a book, which is really cool.
Yeah, cool. Different things like that, exactly. And you know what? I'll always support it, and I'm not out of it. I mean, like I'll talk to a couple hotties, some of the good sex actors out there right now, and I'll flirt with them. Like, "Oh, he's my latest crush," like, and it's all cool. It's all, "Hey, girls, look who's here." It's okay to be fun. And these are the mother girls that are like, who have no PR in Hollywood, or they're really hardcore in the music industry, because I still get a little bit of that feedback. Like they're like, "Oh," but then they realize, "Oh my God, Kitty is cool. She understands energy." Because that was the other thing I was going to say about the paganism that I really loved, was they taught me. I learned about my energy, and I learned how to protect myself, how to cleanse. It's so key.
I do that within myself. I before I go on, and as soon as I'm done, I clear that shit, because it's the negativity is everywhere. You don't need that in your life. You don't.
Exactly. And when you say that, because when I first got on, like, I was nervous, but then I wasn't. Like, I felt very comfortable because you've cleansed it. It's, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes I forget to do it, and I think back, and then this is a little trick I do, and I know a lot of people think this is weird, but how we live in this moment, everything exists. Beginning of time to the end of time. And I know that can kind of blow people's minds, but if you think that way, how I say you go back to your inner child and just tell them, "Hey, hang in there. I love you. Don't be afraid. You've got this."
You got to heal that child. Yeah.
I believe you literally alter the energy when you do that moving forward. It might not be all of a sudden settle, like all of a sudden now you're in a rich house because you dealt with your issues, and now but no. Something changes. And I know people will think that's crazy, but it's because we live right now in this very moment. Yesterday's gone and tomorrow will never come, the hopeful thing. But honestly, we live right now.
We do in this moment.
Yeah. And then when you do your classes and whatnot, you already know the importance of that when you come into circle, perfect love, perfect trust,
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. I always try to stay in the here and now, just deal with what's here and now and, make the best of it. So any advice that you want to give anybody that's come up in the industry, anything at all, what do you think is the most important thing?
One of the most important things I really feel is that, getting to know yourself and trust your intuition. And a lot of people, I was amazed when a lot of people said, intuition, what is that? It's like, it's that gut feeling that tells you, no, stay home. No, don't go there. But you have to kind of know the difference between fear and your intuition. Are you making a decision because you're afraid? People told you to be afraid, or are you using your precaution, your proper judgment? So it does take time to build that, but always go with your gut feeling. And after a while, you get used to it, and then it becomes your discernment. And then always love yourself. Love yourself. Like the adult world, you're going to pick up energy. So make sure you do your cleansing and, prayer, whatever you do, if you source or if you, light a candle, always know that you're in control and you manifest your life. So, have fun with it. Really have fun with it, because I was told there's a time frame for, sex workers, regardless of what it is. You're either the first couple of months to 6 months, and that's usually the standard, honestly. If you make it to 2 years, then you become, like skilled or veteran, and not veteran yet. Then when you do 5 years, then you're a veteran, then you're a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? So, that's doing hardcore all the time. So I have a lot of respect and, just love one another and agape love, or love one another, but have the respect, for yourself.
All you just said is perfect. It's like all of my standards, honestly. Like that's great. Great advice. I love that.
It takes time to get there sometimes too,
Yeah, it does. It's all learning experience, especially being in the industry. It's just, if you're not really open to things, like I don't think you're gonna last long here.
No, no,
I really don't. But yeah, you're saying like the best thing were like 2 years. Like I just came up in my 2 years, and I'm still here. I'm still doing really well. And the thing that I preach the most is that. Oh, thank you.
Because sometimes it can really beat you up. This industry can beat you up.
Yes, it's very hard some days, but yeah. So we covered a lot of stuff tonight. I had a really great time talking to you. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I just, thank you so much for reaching out and, following through. And my life's been a little crazy, getting used to writing. The new schedule is different than, but I'm glad and I was so thankful when you guys pursued and wanted to do this. So I really appreciate it.
It was great talking to you, and yes, you too. And I wish you luck with the writing. You got this, girl.
Yes, you will definitely know about it. I'll send you links, and I'll be like, telling the world, and you won't be shut.
All right, cool. Well, it was great talking to you. You have a good rest of the day, okay?
You too. Good night. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that was Kitty Pipas. A little bit different than what we usually do on the podcast. Kind of drove into areas that we never talked about. She did give out some good advice. What we'll do is in the show description, we'll put her information, her links, also the show notes, where you can follow us, where you can support us, and all that good stuff. So, and that is it tonight. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.